What's up, guys? So we are here for our first episode of
PG30!
Guys, it's our first podcast. I am so excited.
Yes, this is our first podcast. Finally, we're doing something.
It's amazing. It's amazing because this plan has been 2 days in the making.
So it's a spur of the moment thing. We thought of doing something together,
Yeah.
and we were all in the dilemma of a lot
What
of
to do.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way that a lot of people are selling ube pandesals and sushi bakes right now, a lot of people are apparently going into podcasts now, right?
Yes.
And it's amazing, and at the same time, it's a nice creative outlet. So why not, right? We're already here.
Yes. So, who are these, people from
Yes.
the PG30?
Yeah, wherever you are when
Podcast.
you're tuning in, let us first introduce ourselves.
I am Jaytan.
John.
Hi, I'm Nice.
And I'm Gio. So, thank you. I mean, if you're listening right now, thank you for tuning in and opening. Are we on Spotify? We're gonna be on Spotify.
We hope to be on
Yes.
Spotify.
Yeah, we hope to be on Spotify, so fingers crossed. So, because this is our first podcast, we should celebrate. We actually have here cocktails because we're doing this at 9 in the evening. So, what better way to celebrate a Friday night than with cocktails? And so we have special cocktails from Hubog. It's a hiligay nun.
Yeah, term.
Hiligay
It's also in Cebuano, Hubog.
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 It's
So,
drunk.
Yeah, it's drunk. So, I think in Tagalog it means shape, but shape, right?
Hubog.
Hubog. Yeah, it's how you pronounce it. So yeah, it's a. These are cocktails. So we have 3 different variants. We have bigaon. That one I know. Because
Kasi it has
it's a
Chabacano word also.
It's a Chabacano word, and it's used to slut shame a lot of people, right? So when you say bigaon, it actually means slutty.
Slut.
Yeah,
Ah.
slutty. I think right now that's a context, slutty. Now you also have sabad. I don't know what that is though.
I don't know
What's
also.
sabad?
Sabog. Oh, sabag.
It's a bad.
Sabog.
Made with vodka.
And hangag. Hangag or
Okay. So this one is sabad is made with vodka. And then hangag is made with rum.
nice. Bigaon made with gin.
Gin.
So what are we gonna do now? Is we're gonna try all of these flavors first. I mean, let's just toast to this.
Yes.
And
What better day to drink
okay.
but on a Friday night?
Yeah. So if you survived the work week, congratulations. I need to congratulate myself as well.
know,
Congratulations, guys. So are we gonna try just one flavor or one flavor?
Let's
first?
try one
Yeah,
first.
One flavor.
first.
So
Let's try.
Kaya ko ba? Oh my gosh.
Let's try. Hangag.
hangag. All right, hangag.
I don't do well with
Not to
A
put ourselves in a dangerous situation, but is there a liquor ban right now?
wala.
Let's pretend na wala, okay?
The purchase
Just a
may
little bit.
ban, pero you can drink at home.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Not with neighbors.
Okay, to
though.
celebrate the birth of our podcast, guys, we're now going to taste a questionable cocktail. So,
Cheers.
to more podcasts. Cheers!
Cheers!
Do you hear the clinking? Alright.
Let's try it. It smells like coconut.
Yeah, it's coconut rum. Parang it's like
It's good.
it's like buko juice with a little bit of rum. That
Buko just with water. Hindi siya malakas.
coconut water. Hindi siya malakas.
Hindi siya malakas.
Masarap siya.
It's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next.
Wait, are we gonna try another flavor or
Next.
Next flavor na, you
Next
want?
flavor.
Okay.
So that we
Yeah,
know
because-
we
yeah.
know which one to drink during the whole.
Yeah, so this is before we actually delve into the topic, we are actually going to have a tasting first.
It's been so long since I
Yeah.
Last
so
drank.
for everybody, ay, shit. I'm sorry.
So this is all Gio's fault of buying hubog for tonight.
Yes. You know why? Because we all have to celebrate the
Because we
end of-
want to be hubog. That's why we bought.
God, I have. It's been so long since I've been drunk.
So what's this? This is
Bigaon.
bigaon.
Made with
Made
gin.
with gin. Cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers sa mga
Cheers
bigaon!
Yes, I am owning this brand. I'm owning this brand.
Very light.
Lasang tandoy ice? Or something?
Yes, yes.
Right now, I can feel that this is easy drinking lang.
Oh, yeah.
So fun drinking, easy drinking, which is actually perfect for what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And that's as a token of our friendship.
Yes.
Because token. Mema.
Lastly,
No, just because early in our 20s, because
Oh,
diba?
yes,
We
yeah.
always
okay, so
go out and drink.
we don't want to preface this much, but yeah, we like drinking, but what we loved drinking back then was sangria.
Sangria, yeah.
Yes.
And wine.
Back when we were not earning that much, but we were still
We were eating out once or twice a week.
yeah, kapal na mukha natin, no?
Oo.
But
No, we enjoyed
but before
the-
you felt you had a lot more money than now.
Yes, but
Mm.
to be fair, during that time, you felt like you had
More money.
yeah, you were rich. You felt like a baller back
Because
then.
we're paying more.
yeah.
We have a lot.
So
of
I
money.
think that's one of the things that we could.
Wala tayong financial freedom,
Yeah.
basically.
So that's one of the things that we could talk about in our podcast is really the challenge, the financial
Oh, I love
challenges.
this.
This is good. I'm sorry for cutting you.
Uy,
This is
ang
good.
sarap!
Ang sarap nito. Ang
Made
sarap.
with vodka, sabad, really, really
Sabad,
good.
sabad. This is good. Oh God. Okay. Right now we've tried all the flavors. Hubog, you are
Wait,
amazing.
I'm gonna finish my point. So I think financial challenges is one of the things that we're gonna discuss in our podcast in the coming episodes.
Episode 4. Wow. May ano na, may timeline.
All right,
na.
so I'm gonna taste. What's this?
Sabad.
Sabad,
Sabad.
made with vodka.
Sabad.
So Ilonggo friends,
Let us know.
comment what it actually means. No, I'm more of the bigaon type.
You are.
No, but we had that reaction, right? That when we tried the sabad.
Yeah, it's
wow,
really good.
We
So-
react the same way.
I know.
It was good.
He's the others.
I
He's
know,
the others.
okay, honestly, you could definitely compare this to a lot of the commercial
Yeah,
alcoholic drinks out there, like the flavored beers,
the light ones.
the lighter ones. And I mean, I'm sure Hubog isn't the only business out there that sells alcohol or pre-made cocktails, but they're actually doing a good job. It's a small business. And yeah, marketing, branding is on point. Really good job.
I like it because it has the minimalist design.
I have a feeling this is gonna.
I like
even if we don't
this.
have this during the podcast, I have a feeling we're gonna order some more.
Yeah, but it gives me the feeling of the chemicals we use in the lab back in high school.
No, because it's in amber bottles.
Yes.
But I like it.
I like it. I like it. It's very minimal. It's clean. It's clean.
Yeah. Maybe maybe every time we every week we can try another
Yeah.
brand of drink.
Wow. Sige. If you're a hard drinker, but honestly, if you're a hard drinker, you won't be impressed.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
But no, but after guys, okay. For those of obviously, if you're listening, each bottle is 500 ml. So we basically have 1.5 liters of alcohol right
For
now
this entire
for
podcast.
the podcast.
But that's a mix. It's not high.
Yeah, it's not high right now. Does it say? Walang nakasabi.
It doesn't.
Wala.
Walang nakalagay kung ilang percent yung alcohol. But like,
Okay. So now we're ready to actually talk about what we want to talk about for the podcast. So first, who are we? Who is PG30?
what is PG30?
What is
Why is PG30?
How come PG30?
Welcome.
Yeah.
When? What? Okay.
Yeah, so
Home
basically-
PG30.
Who?
Home PG30.
Whom?
Okay. So
I'm sorry,
let's
I apologize. Okay, so basically, We are all, well, Eunice is 30. I'm 29 turning 30.
I'm 28.
You know you're not. Stop lying.
You're not, oo.
But anyway, when we were discussing making a podcast like a few days ago, it's amazing that we just talked about this a few
2 days ago. Yeah.
and it materialized, or we're doing it now, which is nice. So yeah, so we are a group of almost 30 somethings, almost 30 somethings, and
And 30.
yeah, and we're going through a lot of shit.
And
Honestly, right? We're going through a lot of shit. We are going through problems we thought we would never
Ever go through?
ever go through right now. And some people like to write about it. Some people like to find outlets to talk about things, and maybe this is So maybe this podcast.
We love conversations.
Yeah, we love
Ever
conversations.
since our 20s.
Yeah, we've had really good conversations.
Over drinks.
Yeah, over drinks, definitely.
Over alcoholic drinks.
Yeah. So that's basically who we are, and we're actually a married couple.
We're a throuple. No.
We're a couple.
No, I'm
We're a
kidding.
married
I'm
couple.
kidding.
So Jayton and I are a married couple, and then of course our
I'm the third wheel.
best friend, neighbor,
Best man at the wedding.
best man, because he had no other.
Which one?
Bigyan.
Ayan. So basically, that's who we are.
So
and
basically, this is like a pillow talks.
Anong piloto?
Pillow
no,
talks.
he's nonsense.
Sorry.
Anyway, so why PG30? I think Gio also explained that we would like to talk about things that we're experiencing now that we're 29 and 30, and perhaps at certain times we can also talk about our learnings and our experiences in our 20s, kasi I think some of the friends that would want to listen to our podcasts are yung mga nasa 20s na din.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's basically why we're here. And in terms of format, we don't actually want it to be so formal and structured. We just actually want it to be the usual conversations that we have over drinks.
Comfortable conversation.
Comfortable, ayan. So, please, we hope you still enjoy it because this is our authentic self.
Hubog, bekenemen.
Especially because we're gonna be hubog, so it's very authentic. So it's like giving
in
you,
vino veritas.
it's like giving you the license to actually listen to our conversations, usual private conversations over drinks and overnight.
And I think it kind of already gives off. Well, I hope that's where we're headed. Where we get to talk about awkward or uncomfortable topics that maybe a lot of people or kids our age don't like talking about. So maybe that could be part of our platform here, where we talk about anything. We talk about anything: the good, the bad, the ugly,
and the secrets,
Yeah.
and the sexy.
yeah. I mean, obviously we know that we're not the first podcast of this kind out there, but primarily we agreed that this is going to be for us.
Yeah. So that's the bottom line. This is really for us to actually discuss and just bounce off ideas that perhaps we have in our heads, and bonus na lang just in case meron kaming matulungan or merong people who are actually undergoing the same thing, etc.
And I think it's really very important na you know somewhere out there there's there's someone else experiencing what you're experiencing. So it's very helpful that you could relate to someone, especially someone that you do not know. Because there's certain benefit of knowing someone that you do not know, experiencing that. Parang
You're not alone. Parang
You're not alone.
Because let's face it, isolation does things to you. Yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
Right now.
So-
Right now in our situation where the whole world is isolated almost.
And I think that's actually why our first episode is about mental health issues during the lockdown, and of course during the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, during the lockdown, for the Philippines, we've experienced from the tight lockdown, which is the ECQ, to the MECQ, and then GCQ, and then the MECQ
And
again.
the 45
So many,
MECQ.
so many acronyms.
And
So
the
many
and the
letters.
fortified with vitamin C MCQ. Anyway, so it's been a roller coaster of emotions actually.
It's been a roller coaster and it's not yet ending.
Yeah, I think that's also one thing, because it's another thing undergoing all these and knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But right now it doesn't really feel that way.
I mean, if you're a
because-
Filipino,
Mhm.
you know this.
Yeah, from the numbers to, I don't know, I think because I actually work for and with government, but I think there's a gap in terms of communicating what the plans are and where we're headed, from the national to the local and to the citizens themselves. And I think that's very important for us to stay hopeful, for us to actually follow follow policies, knowing that it's going to lead to something good,
Yeah.
and that we're going to go back to the normal that we used to know.
Pero no, like the frustrating thing about it is, it adds to the stress of a specific Filipino stress that we're experiencing, where honestly, without getting too political about it, maybe for another time, but like honestly, what's in place right now isn't really helping us find these solutions. Like, I mean, obviously we don't have a vaccine yet, but at the very least, we could find a way to mitigate, to mitigate or to actually cushion the blow.
But what's actually frustrating is that other countries are doing good,
They are.
especially our neighboring countries, like Thailand is number one.
Kapong ka, Thailand.
Ayun, so that's why it's very frustrating, kasi alam naman natin na kaya.
Yeah.
To the point that sometimes we get to ask what's wrong.
Yeah.
What are we doing wrong? What else can we do, etc. Because we've been sacrificing a lot.
Yes, we have been
Also.
sacrificing a lot, and what's happening right now is we are how many days into the lockdown or into this?
Ilang months na ba
Months,
tayo?
5 months.
So like
March, April, May, June, July, August.
April kasi ang start ng count mo.
Huh?
March 15 ng lockdown.
May 5 months.
anyway, so yeah,
And based on our kamustahan with batchmates, chatting and stuff, we've had a lot of people na
Ito naman siya.
they really said na nahihirapan sila sa lockdown, being isolated, and they're going through a lot of things, a lot of mental challenges.
Yeah.
so what's the source? What do you think is the source of the stress? If we're trying to enumerate it lang ba?
Well, I think number one, I think you can relate the most, you and Jaytan, kasi ako, I have the work from home arrangement for some of the days eh. So I think it's really like cutting the routine
Yes.
of going to work, meeting people, and also the fact that there's a space and a time for work and a space and a time for
Yeah.
leisure. Home time,
Yeah.
ganyan.
But I think most of the friends na nagsabi sa akin na they're going through a lot of challenges right now mentally are those people na like Gio na alone,
Alone.
sa apartment, sa condo, or sa unit. So it's really, imagine nasa ECQ ka and then
And it's 4 months.
you're locked in the four corners of your room, tapos mahina pa yung data mo.
And it doesn't help, no, that early
We're
on,
still connected.
no, like early on, the news never got better. It
Mm-hmm.
did not help the situation at all.
Yeah. I would like to add, actually, it also matters the uh, where you live, or like the
Yeah.
structure and how open your
Mhm.
where you live actually matters to your mental health. You say, for example, here, we have a lot of open windows, but I can only imagine if I was staying at my old condo, which is like a 20 square foot box with a little window. So
Yeah.
I think it was very hard for some of my friends. I think most of them are teachers from the province,
Mhm.
living alone here, and even at the start, they were already experiencing anxiety because every day they're used to talking to people, being with their students,
Yeah.
co-teachers, etc. in school. So they really had a hard time, and especially for those who are just starting. So like me, very very small place na hindi rin nakapag-invest in a place na may open space, may enough light coming in, etc. etc.
And so I guess right now, like you already have an idea of how our living situation is. So we are all from the province, and yeah, we're trying to make a life here in Manila. So Eunice and Jaytan have their own place here. I'm renting at the condo
Mm.
beside their condo. So yeah,
But now he's a resident
yeah,
here.
I'm a resident here. But
We'll go there
we'll go
later.
there later. Yeah, pero no, I think we also have to talk about not just isolation,
Mm.
but um, overall, and I think we've already talked about this before in one of our casual conversations, that idea that what's happening right now is a lot of people are now experiencing some sort of, some form of grief.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of it's surprising that when I mean, like in randomly chatting a lot of friends, uh they've lost uh
They know someone.
a relative,
Mm-hmm.
a friend of a friend. So I mean, around 2 degrees.
Yeah,
But
the degrees of separation.
right now I have direct relatives who are sick with COVID right
Yeah.
now,
Mm.
and it's really very difficult illness to go through, especially kung matanda ka na.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that idea that as, um, I'm not sure, I'm just speaking for myself, but that idea of having your parents, that idea that your parents are not getting any younger, and
Mm-hmm.
now this is happening, like some external force can actually hasten, or yeah, yeah, I think
Mm.
that's the word, hasten their expiration date, because obviously we know that everybody has an expiration date. We're all gonna die,
Mm-hmm.
but to have something this massive of a scale happen to so many people is crazy.
But the crazier part of having a a loved one sick with COVID is that they're brought to ICU, and that may be the last time you'll be seeing them alive, talk to them, etc., and
It's
all that.
crazy.
The buti nga if you get to see them and talk to them. Eh.
Mhm.
One of the worst things about COVID-19 is when you get it, it becomes more lonely
Yeah.
because you can't have your family with you, you can't have
Yeah.
visitors.
Like the usual setup of having people rally with you while
Mm-hmm.
you are in the hospital, like battling an illness. Like this pandemic is taking that away.
Yeah. But I think from the deaths of the actual deaths, there's also like what Gio said, the grief of what was
Of a life.
of a life, of the life that you used to
Yeah, of a
live.
life that you had.
Yeah. So I think aside from that, actually there are really real economic loss or loss of work for some of us.
Yes.
So I think the three of us can actually relate to losing a source of income or the potential of losing a source of income because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it has brought a lot of anxiety
Yeah.
to the three of us. We've been coping differently. So, say for example, Jaytan is coping with more work. My body is coping with all the allergies that I can think of. And Gio, maybe he would like to share later on how he has been coping and is coping through the anxiety and all the things that we feel you cannot process it if
Yeah.
you're not going to talk about it. Like say for example, for those people like you living alone, and if you don't get to talk to someone
Yeah.
in person, kasi it's also different then if it's in person. It's difficult to process.
It is. And I just like wanna add na it also kind of I don't know. I also don't know how to process this, but
Mm-hmm.
it also makes me guilty that I am in a place of position. It's honestly a place of privilege
Mm-hmm.
that I'm still able to talk about my feelings in this kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people can't.
Yeah.
Some people are experiencing the illness firsthand. Some people have already lost lives, lost loved ones because of this. And so obviously, their suffering is on another level. So let's just put it out there
Mm-hmm.
that honestly, I still feel privileged. I still feel very lucky that like sa ating lahat na
Mm-hmm.
we don't have direct loved ones or direct family members who are affected. Oh, you have pala. Pero but like, but like, oh, I'm sorry. But like, I mean, it's like, yeah. So there. So, I mean, it's like it just muddles everything.
Mm.
On one hand, I want to talk about my emotions, but on the other, I know that there are people who have it really worse off than me.
Mm.
But
So you
yeah.
also feel that it might seem insensitive to other people.
Honestly,
That's why
yes. Is it valid?
uh,
Is that
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense.
na,
That's why also it's very difficult to talk about it because there are people who are also very judgmental to other people. And yeah, I would agree. Maybe some of those who are quick to judge would say that it's an insensitive remark. But of course, when you're experiencing things like that, it's also very difficult to process and understand if you are not able to verbalize. So I feel like having someone who is non-judgmental, and someone who will, you're sure will listen to you regardless of whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking is important.
so that's why we're here. That's why we're making the podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So just to add, no, I mean,
And also, if you're judgmental, it's okay. Because we don't know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's my
Mine
dog.
obese.
But because we want it to be authentic, so it's really a usual thing. Yeah, what did you want to add?
I think one thing din kasi is back then I thought of like there's a linear scale of how you should respond to certain stimulus. So for example, if someone dies, this is the response that you're expected to have.
Oh my god,
If
I
you-
like that point.
If you lose your job, this is the response na dapat mong experience. But in reality, there's no linear scale.
Yeah.
Mm.
It
So-
doesn't exist.
Uh, some people have different responses to different things going on with them with their lives. So some people, if like say for example, nawalan ng trabaho, for them okay lang. I'll find another one. But for other people, it may be the most depressing thing that would happen to them.
I agree. I agree.
And so it's so hard kasi na parang we're putting difficulties in life on a certain scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We shouldn't be kasi
Or a pedestal. Or,
Oo, na-
yung parang sabi ko kanina na parang a degree of worseness. Parang ganun.
so that's one thing I've learned in life. I mean back then when I was younger,
You were judgmental.
Kayang-kaya yan eh. Pinagdaanan ko yan. Not
Mhm.
not because napagdaanan mo na,
Yeah.
you're belittling what the other people are experiencing right now.
Or you use your experience as a benchmark or as a blueprint on how other people
Should.
process or should attack their
I would
challenges.
agree.
So, iba't iba tayo ng mental capacities, iba't iba tayo ng values, iba't iba tayo ng mga sensitivities. So, I think that's very important right now na we would understand na, hey, what you're going through may be the same with what I'm going through, but your response would not be the same to my response.
Yeah. And you know those things, no? Honestly, like parang looking back, honestly, when you were 18, when you were 20, would you have ever thought that you would arrive at that kind of answer?
I was arrogant back then.
I would have to agree.
I mean, like parang,
I've known him since they were in college. He was in college, so
Yeah,
But at least
I
has
would
known him
agree.
longer.
Yeah. Well, I think my work with voice, which basically advocates for inclusion, helped me get to that point also because, like what we always advocate for dialogue and dissent and creating a safe space for people to be able to talk about things without fear of judgment. And for that safe space to actually happen and dialogue and dissent to happen, every member should be a discerning person. And it's very easy to say, but it's very difficult to do.
yeah.
Because again, we have our own biases. I would agree sometimes how you handle things. You use it as a blueprint, as
Yeah.
a mold for other people, and thus sometimes you judge them also based. My thoughts also on that is, like say for example, like what Gio said, that the anxiety, we acknowledge that the anxiety and the difficulty comes from, even if you're in a better place or in a place of privilege, but that doesn't invalidate how you're feeling, what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Just because I think this is also a challenge, because say for example, for people who actually have, let's say, have money and they're able to reach greater heights, sometimes it's also being belittled by other people because they have the opportunity, they have the finances for it, etc. So I think,
example,
recent
example.
bakit? Sino?
Sino?
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao. I know, I don't know about it. But for the Pacquiao issue, for me,
What issue is that?
whatever my
The rapper.
the rapper. Pero for me kasi, whatever my perception of the father should not affect, kasi the son is the own person. I wouldn't
okay.
want to be judged
Yeah, and let's talk about
because
that.
of my parents.
Yeah, let's talk about
But
that.
you know, Jaytan still has some judgmental lang.
What? No. I was relating to your point na.
Okay.
His endeavors are being belittled because he's rich. He came from a rich family.
And he came up with the good
Wasn't
rap.
that your point?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was joking.
What? Anyway, okay.
Anyway.
So yeah, I think,
Going back to the point.
I think yeah.
Kasi biningot niyo pa si Pacquiao.
Oo, tapos nagulat pa ako. I didn't even know
Anyway.
it was an issue.
Yeah, but I understand your point.
Yeah, so I think a lot of woke people are saying, this is he's reaching this because of his father, etc., etc. And I think I would have to point out that what I think it's really more about the industry, that there's a systemic problem in how the industry works, that a lot of small-time musicians who have been struggling to make good music aren't noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a big topic
Yeah,
For another
altogether.
yeah,
episode.
that's for another episode.
Yeah.
You just had to talk about it, man.
No,
Anyway.
I was just relating to what Eunice was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, I understand.
Okay, so now going back to the topic.
Yeah, so maybe you would like to share your ano.
What is the okay? So what is there to share? So basically, in a nutshell, um, this is the part where we're probably gonna get a little bit personal and maybe talk about our own experiences. And
Mhm.
so, hopefully, a lot of you can relate to this, or some of you can relate to some portions of this. Um, and I think that's really the reason why we have episode one, right?
Mhm.
Episode one.
Episode 1 at 34 minutes.
Yeah. And that's really the reason why. It's just we want to put ourselves out there because we think that in the same way that I have, honestly, this is a personal experience, that in the same way that I felt that um, at one point I was so alone, but apparently I was not. Um, we hope that this podcast can help you guys also feel that way in the same way that I felt. It's still a process. It's still a challenge for me, but yeah. So during the lockdown, what happened was, uh, I wasn't getting it came to a point where I wasn't getting paid anymore.
Mm.
Like we were on a no work no pay basis. Um, but more than that, what happened was my routine. Basically, my routine was taken away from me, and a lot of things in my life um, were spun over its head. So my job, my gym membership, ang babaw, no? But like, yeah, and honestly, and this is I think the first time I'm saying this to you guys as well. I always believed that I was somebody who was balanced enough mentally that I know when I'm experiencing problems, but I know and I empathize with people experiencing depression and anxiety. But alam ko sa sarili ko na up until 2019, early 2020, I never experienced something that you could categorize as a mental illness or an episode of mental illness.
Mhm.
And what happened was during the lockdown, it started with isolation. It built, and then it grew into worry. The loneliness grew into low grade anxiety. And because there was grief, and I think we talked about that earlier, that
Mm.
we're grieving for the life that we had and we could not have anymore. And I think it surprised me that I wasn't coping well. And I would also like to point out that right now I am in a new job. I managed to find a job during the lockdown or during the pandemic that, um, yeah, instead of feeling lost, I now found purpose. But at the same time, this massive shift in my routine was also a source of stress for me. That um, from one life to another, I was now forced to pivot. In order for me to survive, I was now forced to pivot, and I talked about this with the wellness coach that I got. Uh, that I have to acknowledge that things just happened a little too fast. Things happened too fast. That there was massive shift in my life, that it led to a lot of anxiety. And a few weekends ago, it did happen where when I woke up worried. I had to call my mom. I had to call Eunice because I could not understand why I was so worried. I kept on pacing. I kept on pacing my really small condominium, and actually, this is one episode, but there was also another episode where I just could not function.
Mhm.
I just could not function, and it scared me. And that's when I knew that I needed help. I needed help, but I did not know if I was experiencing or I was going down the rabbit hole already. All I knew was I could not go to work. I needed help because I could not function. And that really scared me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think actually, the impact, I would understand the impact to you because your impression to me honestly was you had the more stable lifestyle. I actually admired your lifestyle because, of course, I'm a frustrated minimalist. And I always, right now, I think, I want that regular routine. Because your routine was, in the morning that you're going to the gym, and then you're going to work, and then, I don't know, do you go to the gym again?
No, I go to work and then I go to the gym after. Ano ba?
Okay. And then,
There were
after that,
episodes that you went to gym morning and afternoon.
yeah, sometimes.
Okay, fine. Yes, meron.
Oo.
Because you had ride rev in the...
Yeah, oo nga.
Oo.
Grabe yun.
And then, like, you...
Speaking of Ride Rev, we miss you.
Yeah, we miss you, right, Rev?
We miss you!
Okay. Let's not
Gago
go
ka.
there. Let's not go there.
We miss you, Bang!
Ayan.
Oh, no way!
And then the routine of Gio kasi is every now and then he goes out with friends
Yeah.
and chika-chika and then he goes home and
So let's just
get
put it
the
this
rest.
way, since marami na tayong nasabi. For those of you, I think a lot of you can relate to what I'm experiencing right now. I lived in a bubble. I lived in a bubble for almost 5 years because my life in Manila revolved around a few things lang. A few things. Gym talaga na una. Gym, work, friends. Because I'm living alone here. My family is in the province. And I think that really did hurt me a lot. Like not having family here. Like especially for the transplants living in Manila, with their families physically away from them. Like all of us are transplants here. It's so hard. Like it's really hard, and I can honestly say, video calls, FaceTime, that's not enough. Okay, that's not enough to actually make you feel better because it did not make me feel any better.
You would long for the physical touch of your mother,
Definitely.
the tap
Yeah.
of your father,
Actually,
the good food.
The good
I know
food.
the good food. Oh my gosh. But actually what makes it worse is you cannot go home because you will put your parents at risk. Because of course we have the option. Well, actually number one is we do not trust our government enough that the protocols will be followed and you might like get stuck for 14 days in a very uncomfortable
in a hotel that you
isolation
end up
facility.
paying for.
Maswerte ka na nga kung hotel, pwedeng isolation facility na
Vet shop.
not so, So,
we had a lot of friends na who experienced the hardships of going back home. Well, some friends were lucky enough to have a comfortable transit, but there were a number as well who had
really bad experience.
a lot of challenges. So yeah.
So I think the main difference with our experience with Gios is really number one, there are 5 to 6 people. 5 to 6.
Yeah, it's a stark contrast.
Yeah, so we have around 5 to 6 people here in the condo, and the presence of another person alone actually helped a lot in what we've been experiencing. And again,
Hi, Tita!
Hi, Tita!
Sorry. My
So-
mom. Okay, ganito guys. My mom is calling me because we always say good night before she sleeps. Okay, nakaka-relate kayo dyan, alam ko. We're shooting a podcast. I'm sorry. Nandito si Kinainis. Okay, bye.
Good night,
Bye,
Tita!
Tita!
Good night po.
Bye, I love you. Bye-bye.
So, yes. And then, I think... No, it's okay. It's nice to have Tita in the podcast. I think, so yun. And then, another thing is, we're also lucky enough But of course, my downside to it that we got a condo actually in this with very wide windows. It actually really helped
It did.
our mental health.
It did.
Kasi maaliwalas, etc. You can see ano.
Yeah.
Your sunlight.
I like hanging out here. I really like hanging out here.
Yeah. Pero yun, actually we were very anxious around May because Jonathan and I, it was possible for us to lose our jobs by May 31, no? So, sobrang grabe yung anxiety naming dalawa during May, and I'm lucky enough to find an institution who actually trusted me to head the organization even during the lockdown. So, I'm very, very grateful. Jaytan also had an extension for that. Ako naman, ang manifestation ng anxiety sa akin was, I don't know, I really didn't feel that I wasn't coping well. But my allergies were really bad. I had...
No, because you had Muji.
No, wala pang
that was
Muji.
no Muji yet.
No Muji yet. Okay. Yeah, so, like, my scalp, and then, basta everywhere talaga allergies. Yeah. And then, Jaytan, what's your coping? Finding a lot of work to do?
Yeah, I mean, it has always been my thing when I'm stressed or there's certain uncertainty in life. I keep myself busy on a lot of things so that I won't be able to think about it.
That's actually really that's a good. I wouldn't say good. I don't want to say good, but like that's a well, it depends on the person. But if it has a positive impact sa iyo, go ahead. Pero no,
well,
sana all. No?
I think it's my way of surviving. Parang if I'm busy with a lot of things, a lot of deadlines, I won't dwell on the uncertain
negatives.
Yeah.
And things that you cannot control.
Yeah, so I always tell when I had a team back in recruitment, I always tell them that hey, focus on the things that you can control, and let go and let God work on those you can't, diba? Pero it's easy to say.
I was gonna say that's so easy to say.
It's
but
always easy to say.
But no, a lot of things right now, a lot of things are easy to say but very difficult to do because we're now faced with this extremely crazy situation where all of the normal coping mechanisms aren't easily applied.
Or maybe are not accessible. Like for example, your gym.
Yeah. Yeah, are not accessible. So yeah, and honestly, like going back to the essence of the podcast, that idea of us getting old and experiencing but honestly, the idea of us getting old for me, like I'm turning 30 in a few months.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Joke.
And is it something that I'm excited about? Yes, but also it terrifies me because my idea of what 30 is for me is vastly different from where my life is going right now.
Yeah.
When we were younger, like we're 18 or
we
were about to graduate college.
We never
because we were very ambitious also. We are.
Yeah.
We still are ambitious, but sometimes the challenges in life.
What happened?
Sa camera. May backup ka naman, di ba? Okay lang.
Intermission, guys.
Ba't ka nag-stop? Anyway.
God, can I just say these cocktails. Hubog, really good, really good. Please order from them. 1,000 pesos, I think. Without shipping or delivery pa to, 1,000 pesos for the 3 bottles.
1.5 liters.
1.5 liters. Not bad, no? Not bad.
So, ubos na yung bigaon made with gin.
Yes. Who finished that, Jaytan? I'm enjoying the sabad, but I've been taking sips of the hangag as well.
Yeah.
I don't like the hangag.
You don't like it?
Anyway.
It's a good time. It's a good drink. It's a...
Yeah. Pero we're not drunk enough for the for the more drunk conversation. So maybe
Yeah.
we can have an episode on
where we get plastered. Pero that definitely hook us up if you want to send us more alcohol. Like we would definitely appreciate that. Support local businesses, guys. We are a local business.
Yeah. Also to add to the discussion, I think what also helped
Yeah.
us was process everything was perhaps at 29 or almost 30, how do we actually define success?
Yes.
How do we define happiness at this particular stage in our
Definitely.
life? Because, again, sabi nga nila, hindi masamang mangarap. But, there's also a time when we also have to realize and
Yeah.
accept what's the reality, the present. And sometimes it's not actually as bad as we think it is once we get to talk about it.
Yeah. I think it softens the blow and smooths the edges of whatever is happening in our minds. It's just that turning 30 or when you're 30, it's now a tangible milestone. It's not just an abstract thought in your head. Bakit ka tumatawa?
Well, it's tangible. It's like it's real.
Yeah,
It's
It's real.
real
concrete.
It's staring you from the mirror. You're looking at it in color.
and you blow the 30
Yes,
candle.
Hashtag adulting
Yeah,
is
so-
real.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean honestly, like parang I know some people in their early 20s already experiencing what you're experiencing. So just because we're called PG30 doesn't mean that
Yeah.
these experiences only happen when you turn 30.
Oo,
No, of
and
course not.
exclusive to
And that doesn't mean that when you turn 30 or when you turn 40, these problems go away, right? And I think that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, that's true. Just to share, when for the first few months of married life, I also had that anxiety and challenge because I could not. It felt like I had a split personality and aspiration because I'm a very career-oriented woman. I'm a very strong, independent, and
Workaholic.
and harsh woman. But of course, when I got married, there were aspirations that I wasn't able to acknowledge, and I actually had the same life coach, Kuya Yani. Hi, Kuya Yani, if you're listening, to help me process this. So what happened was, I actually had other aspirations, which was to take care of my husband, build a good home, a clean home, etc., etc. So kinikilig po si Jaytan ngayon. But the career woman was still there, and I could not
Separate. Or reconcile.
I could not reconcile the Eunice that's the career woman and the Eunice that actually wants to clean and
Yeah.
you know, and
Cook.
no, not cook, just clean.
And wash.
Yeah, but it was hard because it was like not understanding and knowing yourself. And so again, guys, if you need help, if you need people, someone to talk to you, please do ask for help. Please do reach out to people around you, people who can help you, people you trust, who will listen, at the very least, listen to you, not necessarily give you advice
Or
then
give you an answer. to
give
your
you an
questions.
answer.
Yeah.
Oo.
Maybe at the end of the day, you just need somebody to listen to you.
Yeah,
Or
there's
you
there's
to
so
talk
much
to.
value to that. Because a lot of friends are always go to the direction of, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. This what's wrong. This is what's right, and give the advice, yada yada yada. But in reality, sometimes your friends are really just seeking the need to be able to express themselves.
Yeah.
Like us right now, we're doing this podcast because we want to express ourselves, share our thoughts, share
Yeah.
ideas, talk about it,
Yeah.
and discuss what we're experiencing and what we're feeling.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect like feelings, isolation, anxiety, and all these things. They're not exclusive to a life stage.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exclusive to a specific age.
It can happen to anybody, and um, and honestly, this is the reason why we're doing the podcast right now. It's because what happened? I'm sorry.
Hi, Bixby.
It was Bixby, but anyway. So yeah, I went through really bad shit during the past few months, and it was the solution, not a solution, but it was like honestly the having friends with you, having friends not to give you answers, not to solve your problems, but just to listen to you.
Or just
That
be
made,
with you.
honestly, that made the difference. And so hopefully episode 1 will make a difference. A very, very, very small fraction, iota of a difference with what's happening right now in your life.
Yeah. Maybe we can have another episode on those discussions, on
Yeah.
bouncing off ideas, verbalizing things that otherwise would seem abstract in your head.
Yes.
Yada yada.
Yeah.
Yon. But again, we hope that you enjoyed our first episode.
Is this an enjoyable episode, by the way?
Yes. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that we managed to talk about so many things because
But
It
we,
was hard to start.
when we were planning it, we just thought, hey, can we just make this a 30 or a 15 to 30 minute episode?
I told you.
Yeah. But normally naman, it's a 40 to an hour.
But usually we talk about a lot of shit.
Yeah. But sound off. If you want a shorter podcast, let us know.
If you want shorter podcasts,
Yeah, if
we
you
don't
want,
care.
you don't care.
Because Gio said, my attention span was just like 15 minutes.
Yes, my attention span is only 15 minutes. So I'm ganito.
So he's not gonna listen to this.
When you are lining up in at the bank, the grocery, maybe you can use our podcast to pass the time. Or maybe when the lockdown is over and you're waiting for your ride, for your shuttle, for your commute, or when you are commuting, this could probably help you out.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of our first episode.
Yeah, wow.
That's a lot of things we talked about for this,
Yeah.
for the supposedly 15 to 30 minute episode.
Yes. So, once again, hopefully by the time you're listening to us, we're already on Spotify.
Yes.
And
Baka mauna pa si
yeah.
Spotify.
And I think a video of this will be on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, we'll first put the vlogs into Jayton Explores.
Yeah, before we can figure out another. So basically, guys, we're figuring it out as we go along.
Yeah, but episode 2 will be up soon.
Yes.
And it will be about being loveless and almost 30 with 3 of my really, really good girlfriends. So I'm very excited.
So,
Yeah, exciting.
so if you have questions that you would want to ask loveless people at 30,
Or almost 30.
send us a
Message or comment below.
for YouTube, or you can just DM us for
Yeah,
friends.
maybe down the line we're gonna make like a Twitter or an Instagram. Maybe Twitter, no?
Ang dami na plano.
Ang dami guys,
Yes, why not?
Ang dami naming plano pero wala pa. So we're taking it one brick at a time. So the podcast is done. Let's see if you can find us on social media.
Wait, I'm just gonna highlight that one brick at a time has been very big for the 3 of us.
Yes.
This whole lockdown.
Yeah, so he was also listening.
Yeah.
pala.
So I think it's really something that we can all learn from. Take the challenges of life one brick at a time.
One podcast at a time.
Yes.
Nice segue there.
That actually came from a book.
Yeah, that we
the
listened
3
to.
of us listened to in Audible. That's How to Control Your Life.
How to take control.
Which
How to
reminds
take
me, my
control.
membership is expiring. Or I'm gonna be charged. My card is gonna be charged soon. So I better cancel my membership. I'm
So
sorry.
watch out for our next episode. Episode 2 will be about loveless at
Being
30.
loveless.
Being loveless at 30.
And the almost
We'll
30.
figure it out, guys.
We'll figure out the
You
final
will know.
title.
Yeah. But thank you for listening, and we honestly enjoy this. Even if you didn't enjoy, or even if hindi na-bore kayo, we really had fun right now. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for the alcohol.
Yes, thank you,
Hubog,
Hubog.
for the good mix. Again, this is not sponsored by Hubog.
I bought it using my own sweldo.
Swaldo.
Swaldo. Where's Swaldo?
Okay, so guys, bye-bye.
Bye!
Bye guys, thank you.